I had a little bit of extra help with my kids this morning, and I thank God for that. I am Deanna, your face stylist. I am the founder of Growth Initiation and the owner of Melvirus Hair Studio. And I am here to teach clients and stylists alike how to keep the integrity of the hair. I'm still getting my catchphrase right. I am Deanna, your face stylist, the founder of Growth Initiation and the owner of Melvirus Hair Studio, and I educate client and stylist alike in ways that help to preserve the integrity of the beauty industry. Form or a release form, right? And so, what does that mean? There's going to be times when you have a client and they're going to want a service done that maybe you shouldn't do, right? There's going to be times when you're going to have a client that maybe you shouldn't perform a certain service on them for whatever reason, right? And so in those cases, it's really important to make sure that you release yourself of the responsibility if something happens, if they sue you, if what you told them happens, and so on and so forth. So the first thing, couple reasons, I'll give you a couple examples of why you would want to do that. So I've had a client that wanted to go from level 1 black all the way to platinum blonde in a quick amount of time. With the type of hair that she had, I didn't think that it was healthy for her hair. And I told her, if we do this, I think your hair is going to break off. We're doing a little bit too much color. But she insisted. She wanted that hair color to be done. And I did it. But you don't do that if you know without a shadow of a doubt that somebody's hair is going to break off, that somebody's hair is going to fall off, that it's not going to work. For whatever reason, there's going to be some type of damage or some type of integrity taken away from the hair. You and your client insists, and then for whatever reason, you don't want to tell them to get up out of your chair, or you don't want to tell them I'm not going to do this service, or you don't have somebody else to refer them to, so you decide to do it anyway. You need to have a release form. What we used to have here at Melvirus Hair Studio was a chemical release form, and that was because we mainly only had to do it for chemical services. And so, but there are also times when you have to do it for, locks, right? Some people that may have sister locks like myself, they want it to be tight all the way down to the scalp. When it's not good to have it tight all the way down to the scalp, because how hair sits is how it sets, and it's our God-given fabric. And if you keep treating it a certain type of way, it's going to adapt to it, and after it's done adapting, it's going to go away. Okay, which is why we get the bald edges and the bald spots and the thin spots and things like that. And so sometimes you're going to have those people that insist on, I like my retightening to look super fresh. And you know what? Another thing with sister locks, we have a grid system that we follow. It's always going to have a part right here in the middle. And then when you're done, you want the part on the left or on the right, then you can move it around how you want to. But the reason for that grid system is so that your point of reference when you're interlocking is the same. Your north is on this side is going to be this way, this way, this way. And if you're a client that's like, well, I want my part to be right here, so when you retighten, I want you to part it right here and stand on this side so you can land it on this way, right? My interlocking people know what I'm talking about. Well, with those particular people, you already know you took the sister lock certification. You have signed an agreement saying that you're going to keep up the integrity of how they taught it to you. So what you're going to have to do is let these people know, like, hey, this isn't the sister lock way, right? Because if they go and sit in somebody else's chair, then they may not get that. They may get that, right? But if that person doesn't, for many different reasons, and you want to have some type of release form, And you don't have to use it all the time, but I think it's definitely a tool that every beauty professional should have. So, what should it consist of, and what are some other reasons? It's pretty much three reasons. You should always do it for a chemical service, because you just never know how a chemical service is going to go. For the most part, as long as they're being honest, then they're fine. But you have people that come in and they say, oh no, I don't have henna in my hair. And you're like, are you sure? Okay, there's no way for you to tell if henna is in their hair. If they are lying, and sometimes they do fib because they want what they want and they don't necessarily understand color theory, you always need to do a release form with clients that are getting hair color, clients that are getting perms, clients that are getting relaxers, Brazilians, any type of chemical treatment. You should always be doing some sort of chemical release form. And then the next thing is going to be any service that you do that your expertise does not support. For example, I do sister locks. I don't think your sister lock should be done that tight. Well, my line sister lock tissue, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like when I like it, like, you know what, man, let me give you what you want. But because my expertise does not support this, I'm going to have you sign this release form so that if something happens, I will be free of responsibility for it. Okay. Then if you always have to remember, this release form is just a tool. It's a tool, right? So that if you do have to or feel like you want to proceed with a service, you can do it, releasing responsibility from you if they insist on doing something that you know is going to be damaging to their hair. But when you have tools, you also have to know when to use them and when not to use them. So the next point would be, always remember that you have the right to refuse service. There are some things that I'm just not going to do. There are some things that I just don't want people to walk around saying that I did, because every client is a walking billboard. Every client is a chance for word of mouth, whether good or whether bad. And let me tell you something, bad travels a lot farther, a lot faster. And so even though you may have your release forms, you know, you definitely want to know when to do the service and when not. Just, you definitely want to ask yourself, should I even do this service? Take a moment and look on YouTube at all of the lawsuits that were services that probably shouldn't have been done on that client for one reason or another, whether it be lack of skill from the stylist, they didn't know or have a proper understanding of that service in that person's hair, or whether the client wasn't honest about what was going on with their hair, so the stylist was set up for failure from the beginning. Okay, so those are your three reasons, and the things that you should include in your chemical release form. If they paid a deposit, you put the deposit on there. And we can go in another detail and let you know what that form should actually include. But it's truly usually something along the lines of, I used to have mine and I would have a blank spot. And the blank spot would be where I could put the details of whatever that service is, why I think it's a bad idea, what we should do instead. Usually when they sit down and they get pen and paper and they're about to sign that and they have to actually read it, then they start to comprehend, like, oh, okay, like, you know what, I can't hold her responsible. This is me making the decision to do this. Usually they change their mind and they start to respect your expertise. All money isn't good money. You don't have to do everything all the time. Okay. Um, yeah, so that's what you would need to do. It'll probably have some legal terms in there saying something like, Melvira's Hair Studio is not responsible for the outcome of this hair service. It has been advised by Deanna, your face stylist, that da 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 should be the steps that should be taken. However, you require and insist that we do da 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 da, ABC. So we're going to proceed with ABC. Please understand that it's a strong possibility that this, and this might happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's my little spiel for today about release forms. They're really, really important. These are good for booth renters, all beauty professionals, commission, If you're an employee, your employer should have these provided for you, because if you screw up, they're going to be responsible, right? But if you're a booth renter, you need to have these. If you are a salon owner, you need to have these. If you do nails, if you're doing anything in the beauty industry, you need to have release forms. Things that you might need a release form for, of course, the hair services, but you might need a photo release, because I've had clients that have come in 1 year and we do, say, a weave, right? And then I don't really start using the photo until 2 or 3 years later. And she forgot she took the picture, and she's messaging me like, hey, I really don't want that picture up there no more, da 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 da. Maybe she's in a different space in life. Maybe you ain't got time to get to it right away. In that particular instance, of course, just remove the picture. But people be peopling, okay? And we love our people, but people be peopling. And so you want to have every bit of protection that you can as a beauty professional, to protect yourself, to protect your brand, to protect your business, okay? So you may have a photo release form, and you definitely want to have a chemical release form. If you're waxing, definitely, because it's super, super easy to accidentally burn somebody with wax if you don't know what you're doing. There are different facial and skin products that affect the way the skin behaves whenever you're waxing, but that's a whole nother video to get into that. So this has been your video on why you should have a release form, what your release form should have in it, and the different reasons that you should use it. I am Deanna, your fave stylist, and I teach clients and stylists alike in ways that help to preserve the integrity of the beauty industry. So y'all have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all the things. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, Melvirus Hair Studio is going to be in a hair show tomorrow at the Dunbar, February the 4th. If you're in Tucson, Arizona, stop by. We're going to knock it out the box. We're one of the featured salons, along with Divinity Salon, the Lisa Monique Salon, and Sophisticated Hair by Ashley. So you guys come through. It's going to be the marketplace. We're celebrating Black History Month. It's a lot of things going on in the world. But this thing that is going on is going to be positive, and it's going to be a good vibe. So you should come. Have a good day. Oops. Wrong button.